I am 82 years old now. Many people, especially my relatives and my friends, look at the way I live and they tell me that I am eccentric. They use words like abnormal to describe me. But when I look at them and then I look at myself, I think that I am the one who is normal. It seems to me that it is the rest of the world that has become strange. I do not live the way most people think an old man should live, but that does not bother me at all. When I was a young boy, I was very different. Back then, what other people thought of me was very important. I spent a lot of time worrying about my appearance and what I looked like to others. It is a big worry for young people. You care so much about the opinions of people around you that it dictates how you act. But as you grow up and you slowly mature, and I have to say it has taken me a very long time to mature, you start to see things differently. You realize that what people think of you is actually not important at all. As long as you are not being mean or offensive to anyone, it does not matter if they think you are odd. Let them think I am eccentric. It is not something I worry about anymore. When you are young, you cannot even imagine what it is like to be old. But here I am at 82. I do not really notice that I am growing old. I keep doing the things I have always liked to do. My health is fine and I am still able to work, which makes me feel very lucky. What gets me out of bed every single morning is a very simple thought. I want to spend my time being useful. I am convinced that every human being has a basic desire to be of use to other people. This desire does not go away when you get older. In fact, I think it becomes much more important. When you are old and you cannot move as easily, finding ways to be useful is the most important thing you can do. Right now, I am spending my days repairing a double bass that was made in the 18th century. It is a very old instrument and it was in very bad condition. There was a luthier in Holland who looked at this double bass and said that it was impossible to fix. But I decided to take on the job anyway. It has been incredibly difficult. I have been working on it for months and months, but I am finally making progress. I told a friend of mine that repairing this instrument and bringing it back to life is what justifies my existence. It makes me feel that my life has a purpose. I feel very sorry for people who work hard all their lives until they are 60, and then they just stop and retire. Suddenly, they are not of any use to anyone anymore. I think that must be a very devastating and sad way to live. I cannot imagine living like that. For me, if the day comes when I can no longer be of use to other people, then I might as well be dead. There are no two ways about it. Being useful is why I stay here. As you get older, you learn how to tell the difference between what is actually important and what is not important. This is a very valuable skill. For example, I have realized that having a huge bank balance is not important at all. I have seen people who have too much money and they are not happy. Having too much stuff or too much money can have bad effects on a person. To me, happiness is very simple. It is about being of service to others and making other people happy. Of course, you need enough money to survive. You have to pay your bills and pay your debts. You need to be provided for. But once you have enough, Anything more than that becomes dangerous territory. It is better to have just enough than to have too much. My house is a good example of this. I do not like fancy gadgets, and I do not have any of them. I have a fridge and a small freezer because those are the minimum things you need to keep food fresh. When people come into my kitchen, they are often appalled. They look around and they say, "But where are all the appliances?" I just point to the things I have. I have a stove to cook on, a sink where I can wash up, and a table and chairs where I can sit and eat. I ask them, "What else do you want?" I do not need a machine to do every little thing for me. I also try to keep my mind from getting calcified. When people get old, sometimes their brains get rigid and they stop accepting new ideas or different points of view. I think that is the worst thing that can happen to an old person. I try very hard to resist that. I have learned that other people have their own views, and even if I do not agree with them or if I disapprove of what they do, they are still entitled to those views. Being tolerant of others is what real maturity looks like. And I don't think you ever stop maturing. You keep doing it until the day you die. Being a human being means you form very strong attachments to your family. The hardest and darkest moments of my life were when I lost my two sons. One of them was 31 and the other was 32. They were at the peak of their lives. It was a shattering experience for me. You never really get over a loss like that, but you learn how to live with it. It is very unusual and very traumatic for children to die before their parents. After that happens, you have to live the rest of your life with only the memories of them. But even though it was a tragedy, I have a certain kind of confidence. I feel that my two sons are not just gone. They are transformed in some way. It is something I cannot explain, and I know I will never fully understand it, but I accept it. There are many things in life that we understand, but there are also many things that we will never understand. One of those things is what happens to us when we die. I am fairly convinced that there is some kind of existence after death, but I have no idea if I will be aware of it or not. However, I do find comfort in the work I do with my hands. I know that if I build a good instrument like a harpsichord or an organ, it will last much longer than I will. If people look after these instruments, they will still be used and they will still give pleasure to people long after I am gone. It is a very nice thought to know that when I die, the things I love and the things I have built will not stop. They will keep going. I see so many people today who are obsessed with living as long as possible. I really cannot understand that obsession. To be honest, I am actually terrified of living too long. I do not want to stay here if I am no longer useful. As soon as I cannot be of use anymore, then I am disposable. When the body gets too old to live and you go beyond your sell-by date, then that is the end. And I am okay with that. I have found that there is great beauty in having less. By not chasing more money or more things, I have gained a lot of peace. I have my work, I have my simple kitchen, and I have the knowledge that I am doing something useful. I don't need to be famous or rich. I just need to be able to wake up and work on my double bass. That is enough for me. People might still think I am an eccentric old man because I don't have a dishwasher or a big bank account. But I don't mind. I have learned what is important and what is not. I have learned to be tolerant of others and to keep my brain from getting rigid. I have survived great sadness and found a way to keep going. And I know that the music from the instruments I have built will continue even when I stop. So I will keep working in my shop as long as I can. I will keep fixing old instruments and making new ones. I will keep my life simple and my kitchen empty of fancy gadgets. I will keep trying to be useful every day, because in the end, that is what makes a life worth living. You don't need more to be happy. You just need enough and a way to be of service to the people around you. That is the beauty of less. It gives you the space to focus on the things that actually matter. When I look at the double bass on my bench, I don't just see a piece of wood. I see a way to bring joy to a musician and to an audience. I see a reason to be here. And as long as I have that, I am a very lucky man. I don't need anything else. My life is full because it is simple. I have stopped chasing what the rest of the world wants, and in doing so, I have found exactly what I need. I hope that others can see this too. You don't have to wait until you are 82 to realize that the opinions of others don't matter. You don't have to wait until you are old to realize that a big bank balance won't make you happy. You can start choosing the beauty of less right now. You can choose to be useful and to be kind and to be tolerant. If you do that, you will find that you have gained much more than you ever gave up. Now it is time for me to get back to my work. The double bass is waiting, and there is still much to do before my sell-by date arrives. I am happy to be here, and I am happy to be of use. That is all I ever wanted.